Okay, welcome to today's edition of The Wealthy Lightworker. Today we have Nada Howarth. Is that how you pronounce your last name, Nada?
Howarth is
Howarth.
actually how you say it. So, but you're
Beautiful.
fine.
So welcome, Nada. I'm going to have to read your credentials because you have so many of them. So Nada is a law of attraction life coach. She's a light body teacher. She's a Reiki master teacher. She's a quantum success coaching academy instructor. You are a mentor and team member for Christy Whitman International and the founder and CEO of Nada's Essentials Life Coaching. You also are a common or frequent host of the Law of Attraction radio show as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I'm missing things. What else? Tell me more.
No, you're doing awesome.
Oh, good.
I also have a monthly meditation group called Essential Connections with Nada. It's a very heart-centered group of entrepreneurs who come together to, actually become more of who we are, to get our message out into the world. And I have a local meditation group that I do every month. And people love me. I've tried to decide to do something different and they won't have it. So, you go where you're loved.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And what a testament to you and all you accomplished to get that feedback from people. That's beautiful.
Thank you. It is. It's very, oh my gosh, it's so heartwarming. So thank you.
So let's go ahead and start with what we start with every time is a nice deep breath together. So together, let's take a deep breath. Those of you watching at home too. One more. Okay. Now that we have arrived in this moment, and now that we are able to fully download the incredible information that you're going to share with us today, today's topic, the title of our interview is Become a Wealthy Lightworker by Being Authentically You. I love that message. And it's something that Nada speaks about and you share, I think, very, across the board in everything that you do. So could you talk, before we jump into that, let's go ahead and hear a little bit about how you got to where you are. What inspired you to become all of these things, which in essence is being a light worker, right? Mm-hmm. What brought you to that?
Oh, such a great question, Colleen. And I, of course, I love telling my story, but, for years, I knew there was more to who I was than what I was doing. I had become a registered nurse, worked as a cardiopulmonary tech. I'd done all kinds of things in traditional medicine and became a manager of a department and, oh my gosh, corporate medicine. Mm. And I was so unhappy and, it was so discouraging to me. And I just knew I had more to give. And so, as time went on, I actually spent some time working with my husband in a coffee and crepe shop that we owned for several years.
Wow.
And after that, it was while I was there actually that I came in touch with this information about becoming a life coach. And I went, wow, that sounds cool. And it sounded like everything that I wanted to do. And so as time went on, I began to pursue that. And I loved it. It was a perfect fit. It was the perfect segue out of nursing into another field where I could really help people. And, I was hooked. I was so in. So the next step was light body, which was just, it was a no question. Because one of my strengths is guiding people through meditations. And so that followed. And then I also wanted to learn how to do hands-on healing. Therefore, I became the Reiki master teacher. And the rest of it, working for Christy Whitman and the Quantum Success Coaching Academy, being an instructor and a mentor, you know, that was like a dream that initially I thought, oh man, there's no way, because there's thousands of people that want to be there.
Yeah.
You know, I just kept being me. I just kept moving forward. I held that in my heart, but, you know, I focused on each moment moving forward, doing what came to me and what I do best. And so slowly, it just all unfolded. I mean, I remember when I first was asked to be a mentor, I was like, oh, yes, I was, you know, dancing, you know, I was so happy. And, you know, as time went on, then it became, you know, do you want to be an instructor? I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So I learned to do feedbacks and, you know, and so I was an assistant for a while. And then the opportunity came up to teach the Australian students. And so here I am, and I'm living my dream. And oh my gosh, I'm just so happy. So, and I'm with you. I mean, above all of this has led me to you because, you know, you keep wanting more. There's more you can always do and learn. And so I worked with Christy for a year. She was as a mentor. In fact, I still work with her. And you know, because of all of these amazing things, I have met the most incredible women like you, Colleen, and have a chance to share, you know, my message with, you know, more people than even within my own group.
And that's what I love about this. You know, it's such a win-win being able to share your message with the audience that's watching, and also for you to be able to get it out there to more and more people that you wouldn't normally have. So it's a win-win for everyone involved. So I feel so blessed to be a part of it and to be a conduit for it because, you know, as you know, when we're truly being authentically ourselves and following our path, often it doesn't feel like we're the ones driving. Someone else has got the wheel and it's just, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do next.
It's so true.
Now, with your story, you know, a lot of what you focused on was so positive, but I'm sure there were moments that, you know, you didn't know what your next steps were and you didn't know how you were going to get through it. And maybe you could share a little bit about your story where there were, you know, when were there moments when you doubted or you just were faced with something really, really difficult?
Oh, there were many because we all have a life to live. We all have, you know, challenges, and I like to call it contrast or opportunities for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, as I was going through Light Body, learning that, my husband ended up having a major heart event. And they didn't actually call it a heart attack, but it put him in, you know, to the hospital. Mm. And he was, you know, he's not that old. And at any rate, long story short, he ended up having to have a 6 bypass heart surgery. And, you know, all the way through that process, I mean, at that point, I was building my website. I was beginning to, you know, grow my business. And it felt like it all crashed down on me. And, you know, we never know why or how these things are happening. But long story short, I mean, even from the point of when we realized that, you know, he had to have a heart cath. I mean, we went to the cardiologist and immediately, and it was like, I was out of work at the time. I was just in school. He was in work, but he couldn't work, obviously. He was sick. He didn't have insurance. He didn't have paid time off. So we weren't in a very good place. And I remember when, you know, we came home, you know, when he was released initially from the hospital before the surgery, it was like, how are we going to do this? And, you know, so I have this picture of one of my guides on my dresser, and I looked at it and I just went, oh God, what am I supposed to do now? You know? And I was like, I heard this, like, when are you going to ever trust me? And I was like, whoa, you know, it straightened me up. I went, ooh, okay, you know. We got up from this nap we were taking when I had this little experience with my cool guide. Yeah. Who, by the way, was in jeans and a t-shirt, and I never knew he would actually show up like that. But
wow.
So At any rate, we went to the mailbox. There was a certified letter. And we had never gotten one of those. So we went down to the post office, and sure enough, it was a check from my husband's previous employer for a little bit more than the exact amount that we needed to put down in order to do his heart cath. I was like, okay, I trust.
I have goosebumps everywhere. That is incredible.
It was so amazing. And, that's just the beginning, though, because then after his heart cath, the doctor came out and he said, I'm not even sending him home. He is in such bad shape. And having been a cardiopulmonary tech and nurse, I knew exactly what was going on. In fact, I told him, he showed me the pictures. I said, that's not his heart. And he said, oh, yes, it is. So anyway,
wow.
He marches me off to the financial office for the hospital. And she tells me, she said, I told her our situation. And she said, well, there's probably no way you're going to get any help, but we'll go ahead and apply anyway. Well, and so I'm like going, well, yeah, whatever. I was too shook up about my husband and what was going on. And long story short, he had the surgery, everything went well. He came home, and above all, for me, that is the greatest gift. That is my true wealth, that he survived and that he was given more life than he had at that time, So, but then the reality hit me of all these doctor bills and the hospital bill. And holy cow, it was like the price of a new home. And so being in light body and having been trained with law of attraction, I absolutely knew what I had to do. And there was no question. And there wasn't any question even then that I would or wouldn't find the money. I would. I knew it. I knew we'd get it paid off one way or another. Well, initially, I thought I was going to make all this money as a coach, because I was this brand new coach, and I was out there and just got my website up, and I did get some clients, and but I certainly didn't make enough money to pay for his surgery. But I kept following up with all of the people at the hospital and the doctor's offices and everywhere, and besides doing that, every day I did my inner work. In other words, I focused on meditating, connecting with my divine, the law of pure potentiality, knowing that everything is possible because we're all pure consciousness. We're all pure potentiality. And as time went on, and I was listening to actually Christy teach a magnetizing and manifesting course. And she said, you have to feel it all the way down to your toes. And I went, oh, that's it. I hadn't been feeling it all the way down to my toes. Wow. So when I really began to incorporate that in my internal work, within 1 week, I'm not kidding you, the hospital contacted me and said, we're writing the bill off. And all the other doctor's offices and everything that had been tagged along with this said to me, if the hospital writes it off, we will, because they never thought they would. Well, guess what? So, long story short, did the money come the way I wanted it to or thought it would? No. But hey, I manifested over $150,000. And, it was just purely out of doing my light work as a light body, not only student, but now instructor. But at that point, I was just a student. And I just did the work. I did what I needed to do. And it's so powerful. We limit ourselves so much. We don't need to, not at all.
What a story. And what, oh, just what faith, can be taken from that to imagine, to see that money show up immediately. I mean, that's so, it almost, you almost want to say that it's so rare, but it, like you said, it doesn't have to be.
No, if I can do it, anybody can do it. This is what we were created to be able to do. Now, yes, I did have some training and coaching, and, I knew what I was doing. And therefore, if you are in a situation like this, I would highly recommend that you get help from someone who can help guide you. But the truth is, we are who we are, and we're divine beings. As we think, so we become. I mean, I remember telling people, well, when the hospital pays the bill off, and they'd look at me like I was nuts. And I just sort of knew it. I mean, I didn't even think about it. It just came out of my mouth. But once it becomes your truth, there is nothing stopping you from creating the reality that you want. And, that includes all the wealth or happiness or anything that you might desire as a light worker, anybody.
And so where does being authentically you fit into this for you? Everywhere?
Well, Colleen, that's who I am. That's my story. To do all this, I didn't leave myself. I didn't go run off and try to be like someone else. I wasn't interested in making tons and tons and tons of money just for the heck of it.
Yes.
I was interested in meeting my husband's needs, my needs. And, in the moment, I was real with what was happening. I was in the moment. I mean, I still remember at the hospital when I received the news, and the doctor walked me down to the financial aid office or whatever it was. My legs were like rubber. I mean, I was, here's this strong, coach, light body worker who was just like a pile. I had to call some of my friends throughout that whole experience to help get me through, watching him go through the whole thing and thinking, well, maybe he's going to die. Maybe he isn't. I don't know. I didn't want him to be. And I held on to this vision that I had of him when I was a student, knowing that he was there alive and well when I became a successful coach and energy healer. And so I held on to that vision. In other words, I wouldn't let myself stay in that fear of, oh, is he going to die? He looks so awful, And I went, but no, I saw him in, a meditation I was taken through as a student, and I saw him alive and well and celebrating me. And so guess what? It happened.
It's so beautiful. And through it all, you stayed true to who you are, and now that's what you teach people. So I guess my question next would be, how would someone know if they are being authentic, and how would they know if maybe they've fallen off of that path?
Great question, Colleen, because, it's very easy to fall off the path from being who you truly are or authentic, because, we come to this world purely who we are. And then society and our parents begin to program us into what they think we should be, how we should act, how we should feel in different situations. Even our relationship to money and to success or anything like that is purely programmed into us. So as we begin to get older, if we're running that program, but it isn't truly us, you begin to feel uncomfortable. You feel like something isn't quite right. And like I mentioned, when I was in corporate medicine, and it just, yeah, I was making money. I mean, I was doing what I did. I was like, felt unhappy and empty. And that was what let me know that I wasn't being me and doing what
Mm.
truly I was passionate about or made me happy.
Mm.
So you feel it. You feel it in your gut when you're not being you. It's that empty feeling, that like blah feeling, or you just that there's something else, there's something better. And yet when you're being in the moment with yourself, oh my gosh, it's that feeling of being in the flow.
Mm.
Like no matter what's coming, the world could be crashing around you, but you're in your solid confidence because you are true to yourself in the moment. And you totally know that you got it. You can handle whatever comes down. And
Mm.
not only that, you can come out better than ever. And yeah, you may get knocked down a little bit in the beginning, but you don't have to choose to stay there. It's your choice to shift out of that brings you back to who you are. And so, like we started with the deep breaths,
Mm.
that brings you back to who you are. And there's, multiple processes you can use as well.
Mm. So I definitely want to go into some of those, but also just because our topic for this series is really about, the money piece. And you talked a little bit about how you were able to manifest that money. And what are some of the programs that you were running about money before that no longer are a part of your, the way that you look at and your relationship to money?
Awesome. I love sharing this because people never believe it.
Yeah.
But I was raised in a very strict Christian background where we were taught that, oh my gosh, what is that? There's a scripture that says that it's easier for um, you know a rich man to get through the eye of a camel to get through the eye of a needle than a rich man. That was it. And, I heard that when I was a kid and I went, ooh, I don't think I want to be rich then, because I want to go to heaven.
Mm.
And, that was one of them. And the other one was that, rich people are snotty. They're snobs, I remember hearing that. And, you're a kid, click, okay, got that one, got that one.
Mhm.
You're learning and you're taking all this in. And then to boot, I married a rich man the first time around.
Ah.
And it was total disaster and abuse and trauma and oh my gosh.
Mm.
Anyway, at that point I remember sitting there, and this was the biggest point for me when I said, no, I don't want to be wealthy.
Mm.
But I said to myself, now I know what it's like to be the poor little rich girl. I want to be the rich little poor girl. Well, guess what? Guess what I got? I became the rich little poor girl for a long, long time until I finally realized, hey, money is energy. It's not good, bad, indifferent. It's just energy. And it's how you relate to it, whether you are going to bring more of it to you or whether you're going to push it away. It's like, what message are you telling yourself when
Mm.
you have the opportunity to receive money? It doesn't have to be like your past. You can create your future any way you want
Mm.
by starting in the moment and choosing a different belief, a different way of thinking about bringing money to you. It's that easy.
Mm.
And you also have to let go of how it comes.
That is true.
Yeah,
Let
totally.
go of the how.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And so you talk about, these were some of the programs that you had, and then you were studying, coaching, you were studying law of attraction. So you had, people helping you through a lot of these processes. And bringing you to a new awareness. And so you mentioned, taking a deep breath is one wonderful way to just really bring you into the moment, bring you into your authenticity. What are some of the others that you've found really work for you?
Well, something that I do all the time is that I make sure I feel my feet on the ground. That may sound funny,
Mm.
and it's very simple, but along with a deep breath, because the way energy works, most of us hang out from like our waist up. We don't even stay fully grounded in our bodies. And when you're fully grounded in your body, that is when you are at your greatest point of attraction and, your ability to manifest what you want. If you're not grounded, I mean, that's what the breathing does as well. But, putting yourself fully in your body, and just, even if you have to close your eyes for a minute, I mentioned before, feeling it all the way down to your toes. Similar to that, feel your own energy all the way down to your toes when you take that breath in. And, very simple things. The other thing is being more aware of how you're feeling in each moment.
Mm-hmm.
And when you begin to go, ooh, this doesn't feel quite right, but it looks good. I should feel good about it. I don't know. What do I think? Follow that feeling. I
Mm-hmm.
promise you, I mean, more than once, I have gone against the crowd and totally followed my feelings and my gut feelings, and what, just kind of came to my intuition, whatever. And I've never regretted it. It's when I don't follow that I regret it. I learned from it. But it
That's
does.
what we talked about with the contrast before, the importance of the contrast.
Yeah.
So what is the importance of that to you?
Well, contrast is a beautiful teacher, because over the years, it has taught me that when I ignore that inner voice, I'm not going to get what I want. And, it's very simple, but we have to learn to practice it more and more. And contrast is an incredible teacher. It's nothing to be afraid of, or to go, oh man, I did a lousy job at that. It's like, well, okay, thank you for letting me know that I still didn't get it. I'm still not following my own truth. I'm still going with everything else. So through contrast, we become clear about what we really want by knowing what we don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And so, contrast is my friend. I've accomplished a lot, and heck, I want to accomplish a lot more. But every step of the way, from making dinner and not feeling good about using that head of lettuce that maybe has been in the icebox for a week,
Yeah.
and deciding not to, or deciding to, and then maybe causing some upset stomachs. I mean, it's that simple. And you can start practicing using that contrast to learn from. When you don't follow, I know we've all had those feelings inside of us. And in the moment, then you do this little judgment thing. You go, eh, 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 so wherever, it isn't that you're going to go wrong.
Yes.
Wherever you go, you're still going to learn. You're going to learn from it. If you make a wrong decision, it isn't really wrong. You're just going to learn better what you truly want and how to do it right. It's just learning. We all went through school. We know what that was like. We did a lot of doing it maybe not so right until we did get it right. And so it's that simple. It's just, contrast truly is your friend. So when it comes up, it's like, it is an opportunity.
Yes. And what a shift that is, I think, from the mainstream, which is that Anytime you're not perfect, you're a failure. Anytime you screw up, you might as well give up. And I think that mindset shift is where all the power lies, because like you said, it's when you see the contrast as a friend. And almost like I find myself kind of like chuckling at it. Like, I'll be totally honest, I had a tough day today. I don't know what was going on. But I mean, even a couple minutes before I hopped on here, I was like wiping tears off my face. Thanks for makeup. Appreciate it. And it was just one of those days. But guess what? You know, in those moments, I can watch myself now and I kind of have a chuckle. Like, I know it won't last forever. I know that it just means that there's something here that needs to be processed and I can move forward. So
Beautiful.
Sure. You know, everyone's been there. We've all been there.
Yeah. And, you know, that you brought up a really perfect point, Colleen. Nothing lasts forever. You know, we've all been there, and this too shall pass, and it will change according to what you focus on and what you choose to create. And that's where the law of attraction comes in.
Yeah.
Because as you learn exactly what you want by knowing what you don't want, you're just going to keep bringing more of that to yourself. And it is so powerful. So powerful.
So maybe we should talk about the gift that you're offering our audience so that they can start, you know, working with this law of attraction, tapping into their authentic selves right off the bat. So could you share with us a little bit about what the free gift is that you're offering?
Oh, I'd love to, Colleen. And, you know, if you really want to begin to learn more about how to be authentic and begin to create more success and wealth in your life, you want to sign up for this free gift, because you are going to get the recordings of 3 of my, you know, coaching class calls that I've done with my group of amazing women who have, oh my gosh, they've just made so much progress in their own authenticity and success. I'm so proud of them. But within these calls, each call has a beautiful, powerful meditation that I take you through to help you learn who you are, what makes you so unique, and what are your gifts. And I call this the basis of becoming authentic. After that, I have other programs if you want to go deeper, or you can join us live, you know, each month. But this particular free gift will be so powerful in helping you jumpstart your ability to get past the blocks that you have to bringing in your, you know, wealth as an entrepreneur. And, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean money. I mean, that is part of it. But wealth comes in, you know, how happy are you? Do you love your life? You know? Or, you know, I mean, it's like I have been wealthy, and I've known that isn't all you need to be happy or to feel wealthy. So, but within this, you know, these calls, you truly will break through a lot of the blocks that you have to embracing the truth of who you are and open the road to becoming more successful by being authentically who you already are anyway. I mean, it's easier to be who we are ourselves. I mean, that's what we're best at. So I hope you'll join. I know you'll totally benefit from it.
It sounds like just so valuable. And even as you talk about it, the energy I'm receiving is just so pure and light. And I'm just thank you for that, because I know that it's just this beautiful exchange that, you know, has actually, like I said, I was having kind of a tough day and I'm feeling really good right now. So thank you, because that is the gift that we give each other as, you know, as light workers. We're all, you know, benefiting every time that we talk about this stuff. Every time we go there, it's powerful to just break apart some of the stuff that we feel is real, and to have a conversation like this. You know, I just have to be honest, like I feel so blessed to have met you and to have been able to have this conversation. And a lot of that I think is how blessed I feel to have, people in my life who have walked the walk as you have. And I get to just soak it up and learn and share it with the audience at home. And that makes me so, so happy. So, if just one person watching, takes in what you teach and applies it to their lives with success. And what you said really resonates with me too, that really it's not just about the money in your bank account. It's so much more. Wealth is so much more than that. And, wealth is, I think, being able to look at your life and just to see all the blessings without, any sense of like, do I deserve this or am I good enough for this? But just a full openness of, yes, bring it on, bring some more with it.
Exactly.
So thank you so much, Nada. You are a blessing. And I do, definitely sign up for her free gift. Click that link, get those incredible calls, because I really, if just a piece of it was as powerful as what you shared with us today, I know it will have a ripple effect in everyone's, lives and their relationship to money and to happiness.
Thank you so much, Colleen. And I want to thank you again for having this summit, taking the time and the energy to, shine not only your beautiful light that is so needed right now, but everybody, all the experts on this entire summit. The world is the way it is, but what better time to learn and grow and become more of who we are, more authentic, wealthier on all levels, and truly come into being the light workers that we came here to be. So thank you for all that you do. You're awesome.
Thank you, Nada. And I will sign off with that. Receive it. Thank you. And have a beautiful rest of your evening.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.